Hi, my name is Johnny, and welcome to my 345 square foot tiny home. That's about 32 square meters, and I'm gonna tell you why I actually like living this small and this minimalistic. So I'm a pretty big guy, and you would think I'd wanna live in a big home. 3,000 square feet, maybe at least 100 square meters, drive a big car, maybe a Ford F-150, maybe even a dually. But instead, I like small, nimble sports cars, and I like living in tiny homes or these small places. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna explain to you what some of the benefits are. So right off the bat, you can see where I live, and if I chose to live in a bigger unit, I actually could. And there's actually a smaller studio as well. And to be perfectly honest, when I first started living on my own, I couldn't afford, I didn't have the option to live in big places. So I always chose the cheapest option possible just to save money. I remember when I first moved out of the house, I went to university 8 hours away, so I couldn't live with my parents anymore. I decided to just find the cheapest place that was closest to my college campus. And it was directly across the street from University of California, Irvine. And I was supposed to share a bedroom with somebody. There's gonna be 4 guys in one 2-bedroom apartment. But when I got there, they said, hey, would you like to just sleep in the living room and kind of just subdivide the living room, kind of like they do in New York a lot, and your rent would only be $150 a month. And because I was a broke college student, I said, yeah, let's do that. And ever since then, I realized we actually don't need that much space to be happy. And it also comes with a lot of trade-offs when you want more and you want bigger. And in this video, I'm gonna show you what's available here in Thailand if you do have the money and you want to make these sacrifices or these trade-offs. I'm gonna show you my friend Sam's place that he rented for a week. Yeah, it's a sweet. Oh, welcome to your view. Wow. We're gonna be sitting there naked. The type of units that are available here in Thailand for still a reasonable amount, but I'm also gonna tell you why I don't stay there. So let's go inside and let me actually just give you a little breakdown. Whew. Let's get this air conditioning kicking in. So benefit number 1, you can easily heat and cool your place. It's just so much more efficient. It's better for the environment and it's better for your wallet. And you might be saying, you know what? I don't care. I still want a big comfortable place to live. I want a big L-shaped couch. I want a big TV. I want a big kitchen. I want to have all the amenities. And I won't lie to you, having that stuff is more comfortable. Having a bigger TV is more comfortable. Sometimes I wish I had a big L-shaped couch and I didn't have to just kick my leg up on this, but life is a trade-off. And what I've realized is we're kind of like video game characters.
Are you plugged in?
Oh yeah.
Okie dokie. 1, 2, let's go!
Now, stick with me for a second. Have you ever played one of those games where you gotta build up your character at the beginning, you gotta choose a character, and if it's a fighting game, you might have different attributes like strength or power. You might have dexterity, speed, maybe energy, maybe magic, whatever it is. And there's always kind of 5 different ones. And if you choose one, you're gonna be lacking another one. The same with racing games or car games. You always have, the car that has better handling, but maybe has less horsepower. And if your horsepower bar is higher, the car might be heavier as well. So maybe it doesn't accelerate as good, or maybe it could just be, the price of something is way higher, so you're gonna have to, make trade-offs somewhere else. So I believe that our lives, where we live, how we choose to spend our time and our money, is a trade-off. We're all characters in our own video games. Hadouken! Hadouken! Instead of filming all this in one spot, I'm gonna move around my apartment a little bit, and I'm gonna show you all the different places, and I'm gonna show you how many different angles we can get in less than 350 square feet. That's 32 square meters. I had to calculate that. That's crazy. Because do you know how big your, okay, comment below, tell me how big of a place you're living in and how much rent is.
Let's compare the world's smallest houses with the world's largest. Just how small and how big do houses get? Now we're at the size of an average dwelling in a number of different countries, like in Italy, Sweden, Japan, France, Germany, or Spain, all right around that range. A space this size is usually pretty adequate for a couple. It might be a 1 or 2 bedroom layout. It's also about the size of the model of the post-war suburban home in the US from Levittown called the Jubilee. But houses across the United States have grown since the days of the Jubilee, all the way to about 2,200 square feet or 206 square meters on average. This is despite the fact that the average house today only holds fewer people, just 2.6 compared to the 3.4 of 60 years ago.
I actually had to look it up because I wasn't 100% sure, but in the US, the average house size is actually 2,500 square feet, which is 225 square meters. Almost 10 times the size of this, maybe 9 times the size of what I'm living in now. It turns out it's not just Americans. Australians are guilty as well. The average home size, 2,300 square feet. Almost the same as Americans. New Zealand's the same. Canada comes just behind them. So to kind of give you an idea of how big these apartments in Thailand are that we always show that have these great amenities, this is a 1 bedroom. It has a separate living room and a separate bedroom. I prefer having the separation just because I like separating where I sleep. I don't want to stare at my bed all the time, especially if it's unmade. And I want to be able to have, friends over, guests over. I want to be able to cook and then not have it be in my bedroom. So even though the studio is literally half the price, or at least 50% less, I would rather pay more and have this separation, even if the room isn't necessarily that much bigger. By the way, here is a tour of where I'm living, if you didn't see it in the last one. I have a love seat. It would be nicer if it was bigger, but I have everything I need. And this TV, even though it's technically only a 40-inch TV, because I'm this distance away, this is actually the perfect size. A lot of people don't realize this, but the only reason why we have such big TVs in the US, like a 65-inch TV, is because our rooms are so big that when you're sitting that far away, you need a bigger TV to make it look the same size as a 40 or 43-inch when you're closer. Now you might say, well, your kitchen is so small, Johnny, how do you even cook on here? Well, the thing is, how many times do you actually use more than 2 burners besides the holiday once a year? This is really all I need. Actually, I don't even need this one. Most people just need 1 pot, 1 pan, and a set of spatulas. This is a bit messy, but how often do you actually use more than 1 chef's knife and a couple spoons and forks? The kettle is important though. As far as pantry space, yeah, it's filled up with snacks now, but you guys remember 7-Eleven is just downstairs, so I can always just walk down and get whatever I need. Same with spices and things like that. I've been here for almost a month, so it's actually pretty full of things. No one actually needs a bigger microwave or fridge than this. This might not seem like a big fridge to you. It's a kind of an apartment size, but honestly, it's big enough. I think that one of the reasons why we feel like we need such a big kitchen in the US is because there's not really anywhere else in the apartment to hang out. Restaurants are so expensive to go out all the time. But here, it's so cheap to go to nice restaurants, to order food for delivery, that it almost doesn't make sense to make anything besides tea or, breakfast, or like the occasional reheating or snack. And this is coming from someone who actually enjoys cooking and is good at it. How many people do you know who hardly ever use their kitchen? All those MTV crib shows, how many of them actually go in and say, I've never cooked in this kitchen before? What's the point of having such a big, beautiful, expensive kitchen?
When I got all of this new stuff, look at this. Nobody ever cooked in there. You on to me? Are you on to me yet?
Whether I use it or not, that's up to me. I just want to have the option of having the big kitchen or the big space. Well, and remember what I said earlier about life is kind of like a video game? Well, it kind of is, because if you want to be able to have the big house or the big car or the big expensive epic gear, you're gonna have to collect resources for that. And in our lives, that's called money. And money is a resource that you're trading your time for. Pew, 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 pew. And I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather spend my time relaxing, doing things I like doing, than working. I mean, it's literally a Thursday at 1 p.m. and I'm at home hanging out. I'm making videos like this because I enjoy doing it. If I was living in a place where I was spending $3,000 a month on rent, I wouldn't be able to afford to be a YouTuber full time. I would have to get a real job like I had before, where I was making a ton more money, but I was much less fulfilled. I never even dreamed of living in a place like this with my old job. I'm going to have this view. All right, yes, I know this isn't the biggest bathroom, but what do you really need? You need a place to brush your teeth, to use a toilet, to take a shower. Yes, I know I'm quite a minimalist when I'm traveling, and this is all I have. But if I had a girlfriend, she can have all this space, or we can put another closet over here. The reality is, no one really needs more than one pair of sandals, one pair of shoes, and some house slippers. Maybe a Bass Pro Shops hat that a friend gave. All right, guys, that was a fun little intro, but all games aside, let's actually talk about the breakdown. If I wanted to live in a place like my friends across the street, in a big condo, a big 2-bedroom with a giant living room, nice kitchen, maybe a nice sea view, it's possible, and you can do it here. Now, it's still cheaper to do it here than it would be anywhere in the US, but let's take a little tour, and I'll get back to breaking down what the trade-off is with time and money to have that. The river at Monaco, an elegance class above. Let's go check it out, see how it compares with my place across the street. On the left, really, really classy. Like I'm in some expensive New York high-rise. Really beautiful, guys. Look at this. He's so classy.
Yeah, I don't know how you describe this. Gothic.
No, not gothic. It'd be like
Coffee.
gaudy. Gaudy. But it's like a New York, London, Paris chic. I would say that. But definitely a bit gaudy, but it's nice. This is how you know it's a nice room, because it's at the end. Yeah, it's a suite. Oh.
Welcome to your view.
Wow. We're gonna be sitting there naked with a little bottle of mangosteen wine. Look at this view. Beautiful place. This room is fantastic. This is just actually only $100 a night, which is crazy. But $3,000 a month, which is 9 times as much I'm spending at my place. And I'm glad Sam got this 2-bedroom because the 1-bedroom was tiny. It was smaller than mine. And it was kind of like, it was very plain. It was just like white walls, not much decoration. So even though the lobby and the elevator and all the facilities were really nice, it was it just, the room itself was really not remarkable. But this one with the sea view, this is fantastic. Take a look. Really nice. And what's nice is every room actually has a sea view. So if you go also into this bedroom too, it's crazy. It's like wrap around. Refrigerator is nice. I like these see-through glass cabinets. The only thing I don't like is this sink. I don't know why this industrial metal sink makes it feel very cheap. I'd probably move that over here. Yeah, overall, really nice place and really nice couch as well. But perhaps my favorite thing about this place is it comes with tappage key. Oh, might do some laundry here too. Look at the elevators in this place. Beautiful. A couple of things about this place though is even though it looks really nice, there's lots of sitting areas for like couches, there's actually not a single place to put a laptop, which is a bit annoying. And I've never actually seen anyone play pool here. The pool is decent. There's another one on the 21st floor, looking down, but it's not huge. Like really elegantly done, classy, beautiful, over the top, but definitely really nice. I like it. I can see why people like this place. Some would say though, a little bit too much, but you know, sometimes you just gotta do the most. So here we are on the 21st floor of this building. Nice and windy today. It's very nice. Nice and serious. It's not that deep. You can't really like swim laps in here really, but it's really nice just to relax and enjoy this big panoramic view. I do like that they have these couple tables we can sit and eat at. Maybe you bring your laptop and do some work. What's funny is when we're up here looking at my building, it made mine so small and insignificant. It's almost like, it's all about perspective, right? I guess when you're up here, you're looking down and like, oh, look at these peasants down here in this small building. And it looks like there's a tiny pool, or like almost no pool at all. Once you're down there, you look up and you're like, the place up here is tiny. Life's about perspective, I guess. I do all these kind of signs though that say like, what do you call these? Kind of these girly signs. Dreams live here. Don't sit, get fit. We have this royal chair. These big chandeliers, high ceilings and mirrors. Really nice gym. You even get supermodel Sam inside. Look what it says. Eat clean, train mean, get lean. Life has its ups and downs, we call them squats. Dear fat, prepare to die. Overall, very good gym, fantastic gym. I like how they have pull-up bars, they have good machines, all the life and fitness, good material, nice view. So if you're here doing some cardio, you have a nice ocean view. And everything's brand new, of course. The only thing that's probably missing is like a row machine, maybe some kettlebells, but overall, like, you don't expect there to be like a squat rack or anything. So having this is great. Yeah, very impressed. And as tacky as this kind of wooden royal throne is, It's actually a very, very nice material, and it's hand carved wood, which is really nice. But stuff like this, like, it's just for decoration, of course, right? Like, there's no luggage in there. Francisco. All right, great apartment, right? I found the exact one, same layout with the jacuzzi for rent, and it's actually not as bad as you would think. How much do you think that would cost where you live, or the closest beach town to where you live? I would say if this is in Hawaii, that would probably be a ridiculous amount, maybe $8,000 plus per month. Maybe a little bit less in Florida, but still be pricey. Here, you can rent it for about $1,600 a month, maybe 15 or 14 without the jacuzzi, the same layout. Now, my unit here, I'm paying about $400 a month for it on Airbnb, but if you sign a 1-year contract, it can be a little bit less. And either way, it's about a third of the price, which means I'm spending a third of the amount. I can work a third of the amount that if I was living there. And it's not that I can't afford $1,500 a month, because that's what I was paying for rent back in LA. So if I wanted to work the same amount, I can easily live there and enjoy a really nice life. So you might ask, why then would I rather live in a shoebox apartment than live in that baller place? Well, this should give you the idea. No, it's not so I can wear fancy watches. This Citizen actually wasn't that expensive. It was only a few $100, but it's what it represents. It's retirement. I actually made a video called my $30,000 watch, which basically meant, if you didn't watch it, was when I realized I can stop working a normal job and I had enough saved up in the bank to be able to quit and enjoy my life. I bought myself a gold watch to kind of reward myself and have that, that symbolism that you would normally get if you worked somewhere for 50 years and they gave you that gold Rolex at the end. So then you might be asking, well, if you can afford it, why do you choose to live in a smaller place? And the answer is because it's all I really need, and it allows me to free up my money for other things. It allows me first to free up my mental energy of not having to maintain such a big place, not having to worry about it being empty if I decide to travel or go somewhere.
Alright, guys, we're on Komodo Island and we did dive back to point.
If I signed a 1-year lease on this place, or if I bought this place, and I was gone for 3 months or even 6 months, I wouldn't really care that much because it's not that expensive anyways. Like, sure, $400 a month, it's still a waste if I'm not renting it out or if I'm not living here, but it's not really gonna, financially burden me if I'm gone for a month or two on vacation somewhere else. I don't feel like the need to, to utilize it. While if I was paying $1,500 a month, or in some cases, in other places, people are paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for their home or their mortgage, you can't leave that empty for a very long time. This is why people don't take long vacations. Imagine going away for 6 months or a year and just leaving your place empty and still having to pay $4,000 a month for it, or even $1,500 a month for it. This is a big trend that I see when I watch tiny home videos. People always say, I like having it be this little thing where I don't have to worry about. I can lock it up. I can leave, maybe they're an artist, maybe they travel a lot, and they can just leave it and come back, and it's not a big deal. It's usually paid off. They don't have a big mortgage on it. Their lot fees aren't that expensive. And it's just a really nice, comfortable way to have a place to always go back to. And speaking of which, I don't know if you can see my little broom and mop here, but actually I cleaned this place up just before filming because I wanted to make sure it was, you know, spick and span. And it took me less than 10 minutes to clean this place. I mean, and that's with like sweeping and mopping the floors, wiping on the counters, cleaning the bathroom.
The thing that I love about minimalism, or maybe it's just living in a small house, that I need to remind myself to be grateful of. Someday we won't live in this house. Our family can't fit in less than 500 square feet forever. But it takes like 10 minutes to clean my house. As messy as this bedroom is, it's gonna take me 5 minutes.
How long does it take you to clean your place? I think a lot of people spend a whole Saturday, you know, a whole weekend to do it. And they put it off because it takes so long. But when you have a small space, it's just so much easier to maintain. This is why people like living out of a tiny home. So then why don't I live in a tiny home? Well, if you look through my YouTube watch history, you'll actually be very surprised. For the last 4 or 5 years, my #1 watched videos are about alternative living, whether it's van life or living in a tiny home. Big shout out to Jenna from Big Journey Tiny Home, to Bryce from Tiny Homes in New Zealand, living big in a tiny house, and also all the van lifers out there. I love watching your videos. I've been dreaming about it, I've been fantasizing or daydreaming, planning. I've had so many sketches that I made of my ideal layout for a van. You know, if we're ever at a bar somewhere and you want to talk about, you know, how I would design my ideal van or tiny home, I can talk to you for hours about it. So back to the point where I said we're like a video game character. We have these bars. I thought about it. I was like, okay, besides like the cost to rent or buy, you have trade-offs, right? You have these bars, and if you want to fill one up, you're gonna have to have less of another one. So those bars is the size of the place, you know, which includes square footage or square meters, but also how many bedrooms, things like that. The location and convenience. If you want the big place, maybe you have to sacrifice a bit on the location. You know, if you ever live somewhere really, really, really central, so let's say you're on 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, or if you're downtown San Diego, or if you're right in Manhattan, you know, in a good neighborhood in New York, if you want to be the center of Hong Kong or the center of London, all these places, you're gonna have to trade the size for the location. Because yeah, you can have a big house in New Jersey for the same amount of money that you would the tiny shoebox apartment in New York, but you're gonna be paying 3, 4, 5 times as much, and money isn't free. Remember that. We're sacrificing our time and our freedom for money.
Time is money, so I put stones in my watch, bookers in my ear, ice cold, thanks to Frosty.
So we have the total size, we have the location, we have the cost and time to maintain the place, whether that's just cleaning like I was talking about earlier, or also just, you know, how much you're paying in HOAs every month, how much you're paying in utility bills every month. It costs a lot more money to heat or cool a 3,000 square foot house than it does to heat or cool a 300 square foot house. What I really like about living in a place like this is my utility bills are almost never more than $60 a month. And that's being in the middle of summer with, you know, 32-degree heat outside, 90-degree heat outside, where I'm running the air conditioner almost 24 hours a day when I'm in the unit. You know, imagine having a big lawn or outside swimming pool. You know how much it costs to have a pool guy come keep your place clean, or to, you know, have people maintain your yard. We have a pool guy here, and then this side they're power washing the floors. All the landscapers. It's really nice. What's nice about having a shared condo like this is all that's included with the whatever the HOA is. And because we're in a small place in Thailand, and that might only be $30 a month versus you paying $600 a month for it. And the last part of this, character chart is the facilities. If you want to have an older building, if you want to live in an older building here in Thailand, you can have a much bigger apartment, much more square feet or square meters wise, but you're going to have either less or worse facilities. Yeah, sure, you might still have a swimming pool and a gym, but they're probably not going to be very nice. The pools are usually pretty big, but they're not, as nice. The landscape's not going to be as good. The gym's not going to have as much new equipment. You're not going to have the co-working space in there, or anything that's kind of more modern. So it's a trade-off, Yes, if you have unlimited money, let's say you had a big inheritance from your parents, you won the lottery, you sold a tech company. Yeah, you can have everything. You can have the big place in the perfect location with the best facilities. But it's still a trade-off because you could have used that money for something else. You could have used that money to travel. You could have used that money for your other hobbies. You could have used that money to do some good in the world, maybe to help out a friend, to donate it, to start a school, start a charity. It's always going to be a trade-off. And most of us didn't just randomly come into all this money. We have to work for it. So we understand that the more we're spending on rent, the more we're trading our time and our future. If you're spending a lot on rent now, this means you're going to have to retire later versus retiring earlier. So everything's a trade-off. And with the 4 or 5 bars, personally, I'd much rather have a smaller space, but have a nicer design, having nice landscaping, having a nice pool, having a nice gym, than having a big unit in maybe an old condo that just looks kind of depressing. I actually lived in one of those last year, and I had a pool, I had a gym, but every time you walk into the lobby, every time you walk through the building, you're just kind of like, you feel like, it doesn't rejuvenate you. You feel kind of like you're walking through some dilapidated old place. And this is one of the reasons why I don't want to buy a place in Thailand, is because it's so easy and so cheap to rent brand new condos that I would almost rather just rent a new one every year, just whatever's built or whatever's been built in the last few years. Now, I probably don't have to do the math for you, but imagine how much it would cost if I wanted to hire a pool guy, a full-time landscaper, gardener, security, and maintain things like a steam room and a sauna, maybe a home gym. People don't realize all these things cost money to build out and to maintain. I have friends that have home gyms, and they're expensive to buy the equipment. I have friends who have home saunas or home hot tubs, and they're expensive. You have to pay for the water or the heating to buy the unit, to build it. Everything's a trade-off. For me, I've decided my trade-off is if I'm staying somewhere for more than a week, I'm going to pay more for the 1 bedroom because I like the separation of where I sleep and when I'm relaxing. But I don't think I will ever need that much bigger a place, especially not for 3 times as much money. I like having the shared spaces, maximum a queen size bed. Nobody needs a king size bed. So I know this video's gone on for a little bit longer than I planned. So let me take you outside and wrap it up. The next time someone says, I can't live in that small of an apartment, I can't live in that much of a shoebox, I would like to respond saying, I can't live a life where I have to work that many hours, I have to sacrifice, and I have that many responsibilities, take that long to clean the place, have to drive to go to the gym, or to go to a coffee shop, or a co-working space, or to buy some ice cream. I love being able to just walk outside, walk to the 7-Eleven, buy whatever I need, take a taxi everywhere for really cheap, be this close to the beach, have a swimming pool just downstairs, have a nice gym, sauna, steam room, everything at my fingertips, and still have it be cheap enough where it doesn't affect my budget It doesn't affect my ability to leave it empty and to travel. And it doesn't affect my time. I'm not sacrificing anything to live in a place like this. While I guarantee you, by having the bigger unit, you're sacrificing something. Comment below, tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me if you can ever live minimalistically in this tiny home and what's stopping you. Because I guarantee you, every single person who had to pare down or size down had the exact same thoughts, thinking, I need my stuff. But at the end of the day, just as Fight Club taught us, your things end up owning you. And once you shed it, that's when you really feel freedom. Financial freedom, but also just freedom. Take care, guys. Till next one.